For the second part of our coastal trip in the summer of 2023, we left the beaches of Tybee Island and the sights of Savannah behind. We moved up the coast into South Carolina to Hunting Island State Park just outside of Beaufort. We'd stayed at Hunting Island before in the winter and enjoyed the natural beauty, but we were looking forward to seeing what it was like in the summer when we could really enjoy the beaches. Maggie is ready to go on her morning walk. We're going to go to the beach this morning because dogs are allowed at the beach here.
Well, hello. Hello there. You should move on so my dogs can come out. Hi. Hi. Oh my. Oh my. You're just not afraid of people at all.
I really do always enjoy taking our dogs to the beach where they can play in the water. At Hunting Island, they do have to stay on leashes, which kind of gets in their way, but they still had fun, and I have fun watching them. I have to say, our old man Hank doesn't play in the water because the first time he ever went to the beach, a large wave went over his head unexpectedly, and he's never wanted to play in the ocean since then. I came to Hunting Island because it's a dark sky park, and there's a pretty famous picture of a tree that's up by the lighthouse and the Milky Way behind it. And I've never been anywhere where I could see the Milky Way very clearly. So we planned this whole trip to the coast this summer around the new moon, hoping to see this dark, beautiful sky. Last night was cloudy. We have tonight to try again after dinner. It's a pleasant drive from Hunting Island State Park into Beaufort, South Carolina, where there are a lot of restaurants and bars. Some Caribbean food.
Yes. Lots of TV as well.
She's Sharknado 3. I think
Which I've
it's
never
3.
seen before.
We didn't know it had more than one.
We really enjoyed our dinner, but back at the park, the night sky was beautiful and dark for the southeast, but not like I'd seen out west, and I did not see the Milky Way. I mean, what's she got? I can see Maddie looking at Pepper.
Pepper's chewing something. I'm not sure if it's okay or not. Here. You can keep going. I'll be right back. She's got your glasses.
Oh, that's not good.
Okay. All right, little piranha.
Where'd she get those?
I don't know.
Anyway, oh, my purse is on the floor. She just grabbed them out of my purse.
Yep, yes, that's what she did. Okay.
She'll just probably continually come and get stuff out of my purse. I can leave it there so for Pepper.
Okay.
Pepper play
Pepper
place.
bait?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
But Hunting Island, the campsites are beautiful. Big, private. And it's just weird because we came here in January 2 years ago, and it was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had, walking on the beach and seeing the sea creatures at low tide. And I tried to recreate that yesterday, and apparently in summer there are birds, but no mollusk, no little things digging in the sand. I didn't see anything like that, even though I walked all the way to the end of the island.
But it is beautiful.
It's also
But there are a lot of bugs.
A lot of
bugs.
Yesterday I was ending up in 40% DEET, which I don't even like wearing DEET, but you know, I'm still just a giant mosquito bite right now. So we were trying to record our thoughts about Hunting Island, but Pepper had other ideas.
I don't think so.
Pepper says it's time for her morning walk. She's been out. This is just, you know, she's bored.
Yeah.
So from there, it was back in the car and back north, just a little ways, to a town called Meggett, South Carolina. It's halfway between Charleston and Edisto. I really thought I would probably visit Edisto and Charleston, but we enjoyed the area around Meggett so much. It's just quiet, small town, shopping at the Piggly Wiggly, taking time to look at the marsh, and just relax. We stayed at a hip camp that was absolutely amazing. It was a 10-acre property where the dogs were allowed to run around. We could use the swimming pool, and it was kind of hard to make myself leave at all. So we are at this beautiful hip camp. Maggie and I have been napping, and Pepper. Hot afternoon. Storm's coming. I'm glad we're safely inside and we're all set up.
Yeah, all set up. Everything's all very stable.
I say this all the time, but one landscape I find so hypnotic and relaxing is the southeastern U.S. coastal marsh. They're not the kind of breathtaking beauty that you see on some rocky coastlines, but there's something so soulful and deep and quiet about them. I never did make it to Edisto. Because there was a pool at the hip camp where we stayed, I could swim there to cool off. And I just preferred to stay there and look at the surroundings. Charleston has world-class restaurants, and we really thought we'd go into town every night for dinner, but our host recommended a place local in Hollywood, South Carolina, so we got to explore the area around Meggett a little bit more. We're back, and there's this field we'd seen the sign said, "Do not feed the animals." There, do not feed the animals. But what we didn't know was the animals included a camel. So not only did we realize that there was a camel down the street, but we loved the restaurant called Roxbury Mercantile. And we took Pepper with us, and she made lots of friends. I'm not sure what town this is.
Honey, what do you have to say?
So I wanted to say that I think my favorite thing about camping and using a hip camp and Harvest Host, because this is a hip camp, is you get a little bit maybe off the beaten track sometimes, and you find places like this. Because I'm not even sure where I am.
Nope.
But it was recommended to us by our hip camp hostess, and it's really more special than if we had just Googled for a place. I think she looks really good. Granny shrimp and grits looks
Are
good
you
too.
excited now? Are you excited?
As much as I liked Meggett, I did go into Charleston. It's one of my very favorite cities. I've been there before, so this time I saw a few new things. One was the cemetery at the Unitarian Church. The Unitarian Church is one of the oldest in Charleston, and the cemetery is a neat mix of manicured and deliberately left a little wild, so it had a great Southern Gothic quality to it. I had lunch at the Sweetwater Cafe, and I browsed in the Charleston Market. I also visited Guatemala Island and the Charleston Tea Plantation, one of the few commercial tea places in the United States. You can take a tour of the grounds and also see their processing plant. It's a small place and good for an hour or two, especially if you're interested in tea like I am. I also went to a wine tasting at Deepwater Vineyard on Guatemala. They grow some of their grapes, muscadines, there in Charleston, and they also buy some grapes from California, so they make some interesting blends. Even if you don't like wines based on muscadine grapes, you could still enjoy a visit there. It's a pleasant place, the folks are friendly, and there are other things to see. For my last Charleston site, I moved over to John's Island and finally saw the angel oak. I've heard about this for years, but it was such an impressive tree. I wish I'd seen it years ago, and I want to go back and show Randy because he wasn't with me the day I went there. Despite the extreme heat, we got in one more bike ride.
Out on the marsh somewhere in Meggett.
Yeah, it's a county park near where we're staying at the hip camp. We could ride our bikes to the back entry, and now we're riding them around. It's like a 4.5 mile loop we're on, so it's not huge, but there are lots of trails. So if you wanted to do more, which I don't in this heat, you could. But it gives you a chance to get out on the marsh.
So we planned this trip so I could see the Milky Way. Later I found out the picture I saw, you really could never see with the naked eye. You'd need a special filter on your camera. But I'm not sorry we made this trip at all. The hip camp where we stayed was a rare discovery. And although I now know I prefer Hunting Island in the winter without mosquitoes, I'd go back to Meggett and the coast of South Carolina and Charleston any time of the year.